Thank you for joining me for another Quick Hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn. With me today, I have Kerry Barrett. She is the owner-founder of Kerry Barrett Consulting, where she gives Video IQ, which is about your video content and presentation skills. I have Melissa Daly. She is an integrative mind, body, and health practitioner in British Columbia. And I have Helena Bouchez, who is with Executive Words, where she brings business books to life as a developmental editor. The question I have today, when does under-promise and over-deliver just become undercharging for great service? Helena, can you kick us off?
I had this problem for a long time, and my solution to it is to first do a discovery project to figure out what it is that the project is and to get expectations set at that level, and then come back with a proposal that marks out all of the things that I am responsible for delivering, and then pricing it high enough where hopefully I've spent enough time explaining my value that they'll sign up for it and I'm able to do what is considered over deliver. If they want more than that, then we have to talk about a scope change, because usually I'm offering a top of the line proposal to begin with. So
this is such a great question, because I think every entrepreneur goes through this, right? And so for me, it's about, I've created packages that work, that low end, the medium end, the high end, to kind of cover everybody's price points. But I do still include something as a freebie in each level, but I include something that isn't costing me any additional time. So it's great value for them, but it's not taking my time. So maybe it's including them in a group program, which I'm teaching anyway, right? And having one extra person in the program isn't going to impact my time. And yet they feel that they're getting that extra value. I think, especially since we kind of came into the online world and my business is 100% virtual, that there's been so many freebies. You've got giveaways left, right, and center everywhere, right? And so it's a little bit of that expectation. And the other piece is that working with me, I spend a lot of time working with my clients, a lot of high level support. And so my prices are high and reflect that. And so for someone who isn't used to paying for their health or is used to having their health covered by insurance programs that I'm not covered by, it's a little bit of a mindset shift to have to pay for my services in the first place. So if I can offer something of value to them to make it feel better to them at that time of purchase, while not taking my time, I've found that to be a win-win, and just adding that little bit of value that doesn't take more time has been really beneficial.
Well, I have certainly been on the receiving end of paying a lot for what I thought was going to be a very high value service and getting squat out of it. So I am super mindful, and I haven't been in business all that long. And so when I first started, I really did devalue my services. I offered insane discounts trying to get people in the door. And what I've realized is that it's great to bring some people in, but it's not sustainable long-term. I have different tiers that I work with people in. And so somebody maybe who has this sort of price point, this is the service, and so on and so forth. Your gold, silver, and bronze, if you will. And then also, if I have somebody who's doing one-on-one coaching, and maybe it took, a little bit of extra incentive to get them to sign up, well, why don't you join for 4 group calls that I'm doing with my group coaching clients, right? So you just have a little bit of extra time. It doesn't take anything out of my schedule. It doesn't cost me any more money, but I can offer them something like that incentivizes them to sign up for that higher ticket thing. And then I do try and do little things throughout the process that provide a little extra value. So I say I'm going to have a proposal to you by this point. I try and deliver it earlier, or we're going to do this sort of thing, and I tack on an extra half an hour, or super responsive via email or text or whatever it is when a client is having an issue. And so those sort of just little experiential things that I try and put into their work with me to try and add.
The question though then is, when you start adding all these little things and you're incentivizing and you're doing all this stuff, when do you reach the point where now you're undercharging because you're doing all these other little things?
Yeah, I haven't reached that point yet. I am still in the process of evaluating what my price point really should be. And when I find out how, much extra time these little things actually tack on when somebody's gone through, let's say, a 12-week program, then maybe I do need to readjust what I'm charging for that.
And if you look at it as time rather than value, absolutely. Melissa, what about for you? Do you think that you reach the point where you become undercharging because you're tacking on so much other little special stuff?
Well, I'm very much like Kerry because it's high level support. So the email contact, et cetera, et cetera. So I think I'm kind of getting close there. And I think there's the occasional client that will take me past that just because they're
little high maintenance.
Yes, exactly.
In there.
Yes. And so that has been running in the back of my mind is it's not everyone my packages work, but that high maintenance person, I want to support them. They've got things going on. I don't feel like I want to be nickel and diming, but how do I add on a lump sum, say, you know what, this level of support is going into my next level. Maybe we need to buy a package, like a little package of extra time so that I can continue to support you at this level.
I actually have done that. I don't mean to jump in again, but I have had a client like that who I've had for a couple of years now and realized that there was a lot of stuff that was taking place outside of sort of the parameters of the program that we were working in. And so I upped my fees.
Right.
Well, and I do concierge work. I mean, that's what I am. I'm basically a concierge coach, a concierge therapist, psychologist, whatever that's the way I work. I don't work by the hour. And so I have a high price point specifically because I have clients I talk to literally every day.
Yeah.
Helena, what are your thoughts now, knowing what you know about this conversation?
Well, it just makes me think of another book client I'm working with right now who talks about sales. And it was really funny because he basically told me how to sell to him. So I did. And he always says, think about the package that you could sell where they could not possibly write another check. Like make it so big and so all encompassing that that's your super premium product. And then lead off with that. And then have 5 other packages that go down the list. And and he was funny because he says, well, you could do a thing where people could come back to you for revisions for the next year and just charge more for that. And I'm like, I never thought. So I think part of it is just really understanding what it is you could offer that person that would meet every possible need that they could think of. And then you price set from there. And then you start taking things away. And then eventually they land maybe at number 3, but they know that number 1 is available. And then you have some place to go if they start trying to push you back up to that level.
And that avoids the undercharging for really, really great service because you have the really great premium of all
told them
premiums.
about it already.
This is what it is. And I talked to someone once who said, for that premium, you can charge the biggest number you can say with a straight face.
Right. Yeah. Without busting out laughing, for sure.
And I think that's a great place to start. That's how you avoid undercharging for really great service is you actually take the creme de creme and you put a really big number on it. And then you come back and you take stuff away from there. And then if people are like, oh, but I want that. Oh yeah, well, that's available for whatever that looks like. Love that.
I love what I do. Preschool.
Well, because you get to learn interesting things.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. And I think that's something too, is that when you're going through this process, whether you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to figure out your price point and what does it look like and how do we do that, is learn as you go and try different things and be willing. And this is the hard part. And I know this when I was first starting out, be willing to say a big number and have a client go, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you have the different things. You go, okay, well, I totally get that. That's crazy. I know that's crazy. Let's look at 2 and 3. But the thing is that it's like the super competent people, like there aren't that many of us.
Right.
They're really, and the whole conversation came up because both of us had purchased services and they just did not do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge is how do people like us who are competent and are really good set ourselves apart from the people who just have a really big price point and are really good at selling?
Right.
That's an important conversation for entrepreneurs. And that is our 10 minutes. So I'm going to cut us off there. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. And I look forward to speaking to each of you again very soon.
Thank you.